I'm pretty excited about this.
Okay, so the internet has traced all these like puzzles, like with QR codes.
It's basically turned into an arc, hasn't it?
Yeah. There apparently might have been an Uncle Howdy sighting at an event.
That's the first thing I saw.
Was it like somebody just standing in the crowd and like the light just kind of moved over onto them?
Yes.
Yeah, we're not sure if that actually was Uncle Howdy or not.
Okay.
Because some people have said, well, if it was Uncle Howdy, it would have generated more like reaction from the fans nearby.
Right.
So we don't know if that was Uncle Howdy, but we do know there's been like hints and like QR codes and like the website's been taken over by this crap.
I mean, that gives it away to me. It's on WWE.com.
Yeah.
I mean, that just gives it away.
Yeah.
I mean,
but the stable members were harder to deduce. Okay. But there was like this code that had these letters, and they thought that, well, maybe these letters are the first names of all the people that are going to be in a stable.
I can see that.
And then they released another code that had what they think were the last names, but two of the letters were switched, like maybe to throw people off or something. If you took those letters and you took the other letters and put them together, you'd have the first letter, if you mixed them up accordingly, the first letter and the last letter of these individuals in the stable. Okay, so obviously you have Uncle Howdy, Dexter Loomis, Joe Gacy, Nikki Cross, and it's been confirmed that he has re-signed Eric Rowan.
Redbeard.
Yeah.
Okay. Who has been in an Amon Amarth music video.
Yes.
By the way, I just want to point that out.
As well as Shayna Baszler. Eric Redbeard, who is formerly known as Eric Rowan. I'm guessing, I don't know what that is one thing I wonder. Are they going to change their names to these characters?
Right.
Because of the faction?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I hope this could go really bad or really good. And I think it's either going to go one way or the other. I don't think there's going to be any in between.
Okay.
First of all, the WWE has a history of botching Bray Wyatt creations. I think, despite paying him extremely well, the WWE grossly mistreated Bray Wyatt. Okay.
As in, like, they didn't spotlight him enough, he didn't main event enough, that type of thing.
Exactly. He jobbed.
Okay.
Vince McMahon had this belief about Bray Wyatt that he was like a lost sponge. He could job over and over again and it wouldn't damage his popularity or his character. They had him jobbing a lot throughout his career. So Bray Wyatt comes up with this character called The Fiend. Alexa Bliss got involved. Alexa Bliss is another potential member of this faction, which may be known as the Wyatt Six. The sixth member, I've heard speculation, could be Bray Wyatt, but that could be problematic. Or it could be at some point Alexa Bliss in the future, which I would like that.
Yeah. Could Bray Wyatt be like a god type character where they kind of reference him, they take orders from him type of thing?
I would support any of that. Yeah. You know, some people say, well, is it respectful or whatever? First of all, Bo Dallas is his freaking brother.
Right.
Would Bray Wyatt want his stuff to be used in wrestling after his death? Of course he would.
Yeah.
The guy, 24 hours a day, was thinking creatively about wrestling stuff. But going back to The Fiend was like this unstoppable monster for a while. And supposedly, and I looked at it myself, okay, there's data that shows that after The Fiend defeated someone, that person's popularity dropped. Someone jobbed to The Fiend, and then like next week, their segment on Raw would get fewer views.
So like The Fiend was a career killer.
But he wasn't a career killer. There was just a temporary dip, which does happen when you job. And here's the thing. Was the dip in that wrestler as deep as the height of which The Fiend was escalating to?
Right.
He was like the new Undertaker.
Yeah.
This was the new Undertaker, and they ruined it. And people said, oh, he got the whole thing about him being the new Undertaker in his head. Well, I mean, who could even come close to saying they were like this generation's Undertaker? Nobody. So when they bring him back after a hiatus, they still don't do well with him. Unfortunately, the Uncle Howdy, Bray Wyatt thing didn't get fleshed out because of what happened with his health. But they had him fight in a Mountain Dew pitch black match against LA Knight. What the hell was that? I mean, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my other concern about this faction. Factions don't do well in WWE these days unless they're the bloodline, okay?
Yeah.
spooky characters do not do well in the WWE these days.
Who's an example of that recently? A spooky character.
Malachi Black didn't make it. He had a dark gimmick. The whole Wyatt family didn't go as far as it should have.
What about Judgment Day? Is that not a spooky, stable gimmick?
Gothic.
It's gothic. Okay.
But it's kind of a mixture of things.
Yeah.
It's got some Hispanic vibes to it. It's got some
It's got some bisexual Undertaker.
Yeah, bisexual Undertaker. Yeah, bisexual Undertaker. Isn't that the greatest thing ever? The bisexual Undertaker. So far, everything they're doing looks great.
Okay.
With Uncle Howdy in this faction. All of these guys, all these people, Nikki Cross, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, they're doing nothing right now.
Right.
So that's another thing I like about it. They're giving all of these folks...
Right. They're going to have work now.
They're going to have work.
Right.
Yeah. Like Nikki Cross's career is going nowhere right now. Dexter Lumis hasn't even been on television in a year or something. Eric Rowan wasn't even in the company. And then Joe Gacy, he had a faction called the Schism, which was great. And then they blew it up by releasing 2 of the members.
Okay.
Joe Gacy, to me, is like the next Bray Wyatt. I would like for him to eventually lead this faction. Not at first. It should be Uncle Howdy leading. But at some point, he should kind of take the reins, I think.
Is he as creative as Bray Wyatt, though? See, that's my concern about the whole thing, is the creative aspect of this, because all of this material came from Bray Wyatt's brain, right?
So, yes.
So my concern is, one, can anybody duplicate that or at least do it justice? And will, the writers or, Triple H, will they, screw this up or not?
Well, they're doing good so far. That's all I can tell you.
But we haven't officially seen it debut yet.
No, we haven't.
I mean, we're very early in this.
Now, if they come out looking like clowns, then we know that everything's going terrible.
Right.
They can't just they can't do Wyatt Family 2.0. They got to do something original with this.
Right.
It can borrow aspects of the Wyatt family, but it can't be the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they somehow incorporate Bray Wyatt into this somehow, I think that would be great.
Yeah.
As long as his family's been okay with it. When Bray Wyatt first died, I was wondering what would happen, how his family would react to that, and how much involvement they would want to have with the WWE.
Right.
Because different families have different things about that. Well, I think the WWE 2K24 game told us a lot, because there's multiple models of Bray Wyatt in the game. They even brought back The Fiend, which I thought was great, because that was my favorite incarnation of Bray Wyatt ever, was The Fiend. Are you going to have someone that's a creative genius like Bray Wyatt? Unfortunately, Bray Wyatt is a once-in-a-generation person. So no. You're not going to have someone doing the creative on this that's going to be that level of creative.
Right.
However, we may, if we're blessed, we may have a decent writer that, unlike Wyatt, is maybe given more freedom. Because that was the problem. We don't even know the full extent of Wyatt's genius.
Right.
Because he had to work in the confines of the WWE creative.
Of Vince.
Of Vince.
It was Vince. It was his final say.
So we may have the opportunity of having a good writers or a good team of writers that can do something with this, and maybe the WWE will allow good things to happen. Also, we don't know what Bo Dallas is capable of. We don't know what Joe Gacy is capable of.
Now, I know little to nothing about those two guys. So as far as Bo Dallas, has he only done the Uncle Howdy gimmick, or is he?
No, he was an undercard person for a large part of his career.
Okay.
I mean, he did win some championships, like tag belts, stuff like that.
Yeah.
He had some terrible gimmicks.
Okay.
He had this whole thing about believe, and it was like this.
Terrible.
It was terrible. It had a sign that said believe.
Yeah.
Believe.
Oh my God.
It was bad stuff, Lance. It was really bad. Uncle Howdy was created by Bray Wyatt. Bo Dallas was fulfilling the role. And he did good with the role, I think.
Yeah.
People like me who miss Bray Wyatt want to see Uncle Howdy. There's going to be some, I would dare say the word nostalgia with this, because it's going to be bringing back.
I think that's fair.
Some stuff.
Yeah.
From Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
And that's going to put some gloss on whatever that comes out.
Right.
It's going to make it look a little bit better.
Right.
Than whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Use nostalgia if you want to. I just hope they don't give them stupid gimmicks. And I hope this ain't like Retribution where they're wearing like stupid masks and coming out with like music and doing like weird movements and shit and just coming out acting like they got some sort of like, I don't know, like they're, I guess they're trying to act like they're crazy or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And I really like what Mick Foley said about doing crazy gimmicks.
Okay.
If you're going to do a crazy gimmick, you got to do crazy stuff.
Right.
Okay.
And he did.
Yeah, Mick Foley, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you could just take one match of Mick Foley and that's enough to justify his craziness.
Right.
You take the Hell in a Cell match with The Undertaker, he's crazy.
He's crazy, yeah.
You take his match against any of them against Terry Funk.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
Mick Foley was crazy.
Yeah.
His matches against Vader. You just name it. Mm-hmm. The guy was crazy. You can't just go out there and swing your arms around and I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I'm crazy.
Yeah.
You got to like play the part, okay? And you got to do something that makes people believe that you're crazy.
Right.
Nikki Cross has actually kind of done that already. I mean, she hasn't bled profusely from her forehead like the average John Moxley match.
By the way, he didn't bleed at Double or Nothing.
I was shocked.
No blood. I believe Edge and Malachi were the only ones that bled that night.
Maybe Moxley didn't have any blood left. Maybe he was like bleeding himself. He was like, "What the hell's going on? I got enough blood coming out of my head." Bled his last drop of blood.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's.
I could see this working being a more cerebral, spooky. Like these guys they're crazy, but they're smart about it. I guess
Maybe
not like I'm crazy. Not like that.
We don't need that.
No.
That was basically Retribution. Oh, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I mean, it was so bad. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Uncle Howdy and the new faction. We'll have to see.
All right, yeah.
The jury's out.
There's something to look forward to.
Oh, I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a live Raw in ages, and I'm thinking about watching that episode live.
Right.
Like, I'm pumped about it.